The Banshee is a supernatural figure from Irish and Celtic folklore, often classified as a type of fae rather than a ghost or spirit. Her role is that of a harbinger of death, warning certain families of an impending passing through her mournful wail. The name Banshee comes from the Irish Bansee, meaning fairy woman, which ties her directly to the realm of the fae rather than the world of the dead. Unlike other fairies, who are often mischievous or unpredictable, the Banshee does not seek to interfere in human affairs, but instead mourns for those who are about to die. Banshees are usually described as women with long, flowing hair, wearing robes of white, gray, or green, sometimes appearing young and beautiful, other times as a withered old crone. Some stories depict her as a figure dressed in a shroud, combing her hair with a silver comb, a common motif in Irish folklore. This comb is said to be dangerous. If a person picks up a silver comb left on the ground, they may be taken by the fairies. In some tales, she has red eyes from weeping, and her cry is described as a mixture of sorrow and terror, capable of freezing the blood of anyone who hears it. While some versions describe her as a solitary figure, other traditions speak of multiple banshees appearing at once. The presence of multiple banshees keening together was said to signal the death of a particularly important person. Unlike malevolent spirits, the Banshee does not cause death but merely warns of its approach. She is often linked to ancient Irish traditions of keening, in which women would wail and mourn for the dead at funerals. Some legends say that each Irish noble family had its own Banshee, who would keen before the death of one of its members. The O'Neills, O'Briens, O'Grady's, and other ancient Gaelic families were said to be followed by these mourning fairies, ensuring that no death in the family would come without warning. The tradition of the Banshee was so strong that even as Irish families emigrated around the world, stories persisted of people hearing her wail, even in lands far from Ireland. One well-known legend tells of a man traveling alone at night who comes across a woman crying by a river. When he approaches, she vanishes into thin air, and later, he learns of a death in his family. Another tale speaks of a noble family who repeatedly heard a banshee's wail before the loss of a loved one, proving her to be an omen rather than a cause of death. In Scottish folklore, a similar figure exists known as the Bean-Nye or washerwoman, who is seen cleaning blood-stained clothes in a river before a warrior's death, further linking the Banshee to the fate-driven world of the Fae. The Bean-Nye is sometimes considered a more active participant in fate, as some stories suggest that if a person sneaks up on her, they can ask her whose death she is predicting or even alter their own fate. Even today, the legend of the Banshee persists in folklore and popular culture, appearing in literature, films, and ghost stories. While modern interpretations often portray her as a terrifying or vengeful spirit, traditional Irish belief sees her as a sorrowful, almost compassionate figure. She embodies both the inevitability of death and the deep connections between the Fae and the human world, reminding people of their ties to history, ancestry, and fate. Some believe that banshees, if treated with respect, can offer wisdom or comfort in times of grief. The persistence of her legend across centuries speaks to the universal human experience of mourning and the need to find meaning in the moments before death.